content is king. I don't believe that you can produce too much content because there's all these filters and things like that. And if you put enough out there, more people will see it. Welcome to the Matt Literacy Project. This show consists of all things real estate, business, marketing, and entrepreneurship. Each show consists of myself, Matt Literacy, a member of my team, and a guest. This week, we're doing the same thing we've been doing for the last few weeks, and we're updating the coronavirus situation. This is Season 2, Episode 25, COVID-19 Week 6 podcast. When will this end? We are just kind of do what we've been doing the last few weeks. Today, the date is Thursday, April 23rd. So what I tell you today, what my answers are today, reflect on what we know about today of the situation. As I've said in the last 5 weeks, this virus is an ever-changing situation. It's changing by the minute, by the hour, by the day. So if you watch this 3 days from now and something crazy happens and one of my answers was wrong, and you're like, how did you not know that? I can't predict the future. If I could, I'd be betting big on stocks right now and be sitting on a yacht by myself. This is our 6th week in the podcast. My hair's overgrown. I kind of feel like a Muppet, a cross between one of those people who thinks they're cool with long hair and just a shaggy hippie. That's kind of how I feel. And, what we do is we read off questions. So we literally collect questions all week. We take the questions that buyers have been asking us all week. We take the questions that sellers have been asking us all week. We ask social media. That brings in a lot. Then my assistants gather questions from people. And there's literally 4 different sources, and we piece them together. I don't look at them beforehand, and I just read them off. And that's how it goes. So let's start with the first question, which is, how's the market this week? The market's better. It's definitely better than it was. Showings are about double what they were last week. So 0 plus 0 is still 0. I'm just kidding. It's not 0, but we definitely are seeing our team and group itself did see double the traffic this week compared to last week. It's starting to pick up. I think people are getting a little bit more stir crazy. We are seeing a lot of multiple bids. Existing inventory, I don't know if people think it's picked over or what, but new inventory to come in the market, I feel like everything is multiple bid. The minute it goes on the market, if it's under 500,000, let's rephrase it. So if it's under 500,000, I feel like it's a multiple bid. Above 500,000, it's hit or miss. Above $1 million, it still seems to be very dead. Do you think the stay-at-home order should be extended? So do I think it should be? No. I think they should lift it. I'm selfish. I want to get back to work. I want to get our economy going. To me, I feel like the worst is done. My wife completely disagrees with me. So does my family. Probably so do 60% of you there. But my personal opinion, yes. Let's get back to work. And I'm not saying let's all go crazy and go out there, but let's get phase 1 going. Let's do a slow release. Let's get these people back to work. I'm sick and tired of seeing all these people lose their jobs and businesses go under. I want to see people kind of get back in the swing of things. Will you continue to take precautions even after it is lifted? We'll still probably ask some certain questions. I'm not going to be wearing a mask and gloves and stuff like that once it's lifted. I don't really know what's going to change from like if the governor was like, hey, we can all go out tomorrow compared to today. Hypothetically, if you're not wearing a mask today, or if you are wearing a mask today, and then tomorrow he says, hey, it's lifted, and you don't wear a mask tomorrow, was there really a difference in 24 hours? So that's kind of like how I feel, but it is what it is. But we will try to take things a little bit safer than we have in the past. Let's put it that way. What is the one thing you're going to miss the most that is shut down right now? Oh, what is the one place you miss the most that's shut down right now? The gym. I miss going to the gym. I'm a super big routine guy, and I do go to the gym every day. As I've mentioned for the past 5 weeks, I am staying out in the suburbs, my in-laws, and I'm working out at JPs Gym. That's my little brother-in-law's gym in his basement surrounded by Barbies. Check out our vlog to see what that setup's like. But I have a trainer. I go to the gym every morning. It's kind of nice to get in that routine, and I wish that was open. Are you getting a lot of showing requests still for your listings? Yes. We're getting a lot more. This past Saturday, we had almost 30 showings total on this past Saturday. Now, compared to a normal Saturday and in April, we have like 90 with our buyers tours, but it does seem like things are starting to pick up. I do feel like we're starting to see that light at the end of the tunnel. How do you think big brokerages are going to handle furloughs, et cetera, if the lockdown extends? I think they're going to fire more people. People have to realize that March, April, and May are real estate's busiest months of the year, specifically in Chicago. Now, if you're in Alabama and you're like, no way, June, July, August are, I get it, where we're at. And I think generally speaking, that's kind of like when the market really starts to pick up steam is, March, April, May. So when you take those months out of it, you take a third of the year out of the picture and you take off a third of the best months of the year, people aren't going to be as profitable. So what they're thinking about is they're thinking like, hey, by the end of the fourth quarter, how are we going to show our investors that we still remain profitable? And the way they're going to do that is they're going to have to fire some staff. And that's just what we're going to see happen. And we're going to see more of it. The longer this goes on, that is. Where's the first place you plan to go when the lockdown is lifted? As I mentioned earlier, I'll go back to the gym. I'll get a haircut, get this thing kind of settled down here. I'm trying to ask my brother-in-law or my wife if they understand how to cut hair so we can kind of get things going. But those are probably going to be the first two places. And I'll tell you right now also, I'm not a big guy that goes out to restaurants. I prefer to cook. I don't really like to go out that much, but I will be going out to a restaurant as well. I like to see more people. It'd be nice to see more people. How will this lockdown extension affect the market for the rest of the year? Well, I think the market's going to I think June, July, and August are definitely going to be better than they normally are. I'm not going to say they're going to be amazing. I just think they'll be better. And I think the fall market will be better too. But I think the sales are going to be down because I think inventory is going to be down. In the last 5 weeks, I talked about inventory going to be the biggest problem. So I do think the market will be stronger in the following months to come than they would normally be. It's just not going to be as strong as we need it to be for sales to reflect very great. How are you handling listing consultations and buyers consultations? We've been doing Zoom meetings mostly. There are some people who want to meet in person. So, if it's a new person that is willing to fill out a COVID form of like where they've been, et cetera, I'll meet them in person if that's what they prefer. But 95% of my buyer and listing consultations are done on Zoom. What is the most frustrating thing for you right now? Probably attitude is probably my most frustrating thing for the last couple of weeks is attitude. Everybody seems to have a big attitude, and I feel like nobody really wants to try as hard. And it's like it's either people are trying to prove that they're this great agent, and they're making things way more difficult than they have to be, or you're having to deal with these people who are telling me that, that the market's failing and it's the end of the world. And it's just a bad attitude to have. And it's beyond frustrating. So those two things with their attitudes is what's really driving me crazy. Have you stuck with your daily routine? Yes, for the most part. I mean, honestly, I'm waking up anywhere from a half hour to an hour later. I normally sleep like 4 hours a night. I'm sleeping like 5 hours and 15 minutes. I got to tell you, it's crazy how backed up and behind I could feel because of that. And I feel like it's a terrible thing to get into right now, sleeping a little bit extra, because this is a good advice for everybody out there. It's really easy to just say, hey, let me catch an extra half hour of sleep. I don't have as much on my calendar. And I'm the first to tell you that I'm kind of falling into that a little bit too. But it's important to know that we got to stick to our routine, because the minute this gets lifted, it's going to be really hard. Like even for me, it's going to be really hard to go from 5 hours to 5 hours and 15 minutes to back to 4 hours of sleep when you get used to it after 6-7 weeks. But I'm trying to stick with my routine as much as possible. Any favorite shows? Any new favorite shows? I was telling this to our producer here beforehand. Too Hot to Handle. Hashtag Too Hot to Handle. It is the greatest, worst show you'll ever see in your entire life. I am obsessed with it. It is disgustingly bad for young ones, but for us adults who want some mindless garbage entertainment that will make you feel a lot better about your life, it is a must-watch. So that is my must-watch show, is Too Hot to Handle. What are you seeing in inspections? People asking for more items, larger credits, closing costs, etc. I am seeing buyers feel like the world is ending for the most part. And I am seeing buyers ask for more stuff than they normally would. However, I think this week is changing. I am seeing a lot more stuff be multiple bids. Right before the start, I got an email from my assistant for a property we're supposed to see tonight, and she said there's 7 offers on it, and we have to let them know by 8 o'clock tonight. And this is a $750,000 property. I mean, I feel like that's happening a lot. We have a lot of inventory that's not getting that, but I mean, I feel like new inventory to the market is doing really, really well right now. So I don't think people on inspection items can be as hard pressed on it, but I do feel like, existing inventory that was sitting there a little bit, we are seeing buyers try to beat us up a little bit more than normal. Due to new restrictions, you think buyers will move to working with smaller banks or will wait longer to buy instead? For everybody out there, this is asking pretty much a lot of big banks are putting restrictions like 20% down, et cetera. Honestly, I don't think buyers really care. I think buyers are going to go to wherever their down payment works for them and whoever gives them the best rate. I don't think it's going to change much, and that's how it's been the last year. Our residential real estate markets being hit differently based on location, city versus suburb, et cetera. Real estate is very local. I'm on a lot of mastermind boards and groups, and I talk to a lot of really, really big agents. We're talking like top 3 agents in like the biggest cities in the country. Like New York, crushed. Like they're doing awful right now. Texas, doing amazing right now. Michigan, can't leave the house, doing terrible right now. I mean, every market is different. So yeah, everybody's going to be feeling things differently than others. I could tell you in Chicago, showings are down, inventory's down. That's what I know about our city here. Your city could be different, but again, real estate is super, super based off location. What do you expect to see happen with taxes after this is all said and done? Well, I'll tell you right now, taxes in Chicago are going to go up. We're broke as it is. We're pumping money out like crazy. The feds are they're literally just printing money. So yeah, we're gonna be paying taxes. Our kids are gonna be paying taxes, and our kids' kids are gonna be paying taxes on what's being distributed today for the rest of their lives. What is the biggest fear with buying right now? I think leaving the house, probably for most people. A lot of buyers have fear of the uncertainty of the market, so they either won't leave the house or they're fearful of like what's going to happen with the market in the future. But the reality is that, the market's going to be fine. I know you may think I'm crazy for saying that. You may be watching this like you're an idiot. The market's going to drop, blah, blah, blah. We'll have to wait and see. But as a guy that is currently number 1 market share in the state, I could tell you that from what I'm seeing is that there's a lot of confidence in home buying, but there's not a lot of inventory. So it's a simple law of supply and demand. I think the market's going to be fine, but I think the buyer's general perception is scared. If tons of people choose not to buy this year, do you see a crazy influx in purchases for next year? Yes. I think next year is going to be amazing. I think there's going to be a lot of pent-up demand. A lot of people think it's going to be a V-shaped housing market where we're just going to bounce back in June. It's going to be freaking nuts. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think a lot of buyers, as I just mentioned, are fearful. And by next year, when they see that the market's not as bad as they thought, they're going to be kind of first to the market. I think January next year is going to be one of the best months we've ever seen in the history of Chicago for sales. Remember, I said that because I think that's going to happen. How do Chicago's rent cycles play into the coronavirus timeframe? Big time. A lot of people's leases come due in April and May, and that's why we're seeing a lot of multiple bids right now. Is that April, May, June, with all these rents coming up, people are like they gotta buy, and there's nothing on the market, and that's why I think new inventory to the market is seeing such an influx in showings and activity. Is any Chicago neighborhood going to be more affected than others in the real estate markets? I think any real estate market in Chicago that has gone up a lot in the last couple of years are going to be more likely to go down. So if you're volatile, if you've gone up like Humble Park, they said went up like 35%, Pilsen, Logan Square, like these type of areas that had a lot of growth, they have more chance to have room for depreciation. Where you have markets like River North and Lincoln Park and Staples that have always been strong, they have less likely of a risk to go down, okay? Are there certain locations that may rise in value and certain locations that may drastically decrease? Okay, same question. I don't think anybody's going to see, I'll address the increase part. I don't think anybody's really going to see that big of an increase. I think the staple markets are going to hold firm, and the new growth markets could possibly see a small depreciation. Is there going to be an increase or decrease in contingency deals? So contingency deals are properties that are contingent on the sale of their property. I think we'll probably see an increase of that once this is lifted. I think a lot of people have to sell in order to buy up. And I think that when this is lifted, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to need a bigger place. And we're going to see more of that. It seems like a good time to sell with inventory being low. But what if you can't find somewhere to move? Should you find a new home first or sell your home first? Get rid of that asset. That's what I always tell people. Worry about selling first. I would sell your place and then, rent short term if you have to. Live in a hotel. I know it sucks, but what sucks worse is losing on that house that you loved because you decided that you thought it was a better idea to try to find a place with a contingent offer. Get rid of the asset. Figure out your situation after that. Live with family. Suck it up. It's going to blow. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be miserable if you sell too quick and you don't have anywhere to go, but it'll work out better in the end. You have to look at the bigger picture. What type of buyers are you most commonly seeing out right now during the shelter in place? They're motivated, but by what? Growing family, job location. I mean, most of the people I'm seeing out right now are younger people, under 40, definitely under 35. They're a little bit more fearless. They probably should be the ones that are a little bit more fearful, considering that, lower end and younger jobs are a little bit more, they're more likely to lose their job. But honestly, I see them out more. I'll tell you, I'm not seeing a lot of 60 plus people that are millionaires that have a lot of money. I'm not seeing many, if any of them, but I am seeing a lot of the younger people who are renting right now and need to buy up. That's the majority of people I'm personally seeing. Are there any restrictions for moving companies right now? No, we've answered this last 5 weeks. They are considered an essential business. Are interior designers considered essential? Great question. No clue. I guess we could probably classify them as a contractor. I'm sure you could get away with having them come to your place. A lot of stuff is being done virtual. I know that we're trying to design a place that we're buying, and a lot of stuff we're doing over video. So, but I'm sure if you really want to, you could probably get them in there. Are you still doing home staging? Yes. You could consider a stager, a mover. So any property that we have that has to get staged is still being done, and our stager is still working. Do I know any? Follow-up question. Do you know anything about virtual home staging and how does that work? Yeah, virtual home staging. We have a guy that can do it. I personally hate virtual home staging. Call me crazy, but I hate it because you do it and then the people walk in there and where's that furniture? And we're like, oh, we did this and we placed this, and the people actually get really upset. They think it was a bait and switch. So I'm not for virtual home staging, but we know how to do it. Have you had any MLG Zoom calls in place of team meetings? Yeah, we actually, mostly we've been doing it on the phone, but we just did one of our first group Zoom meeting with everybody. It worked out well. Nothing really big there. I bet you Jamie slipped this one in. Am I going to furlough Jamie? Jamie's our executive assistant. I am not. I have not furloughed any of my staff. I haven't fired any of my staff. I haven't reduced any salaries of my staff. In fact, a couple of my salaried employees get bonuses at the end of every month, and they're supposed to get that. And I've bonused out all my salaried employees who are due bonuses, and I plan to continue to do so. And I'm not going to fire anybody. I'm not going to, cut anybody's salary, and I'm not going to not give the bonuses that are due. So I save for this. I knew at some point something would happen to make the market really bad or difficult. And I knew when that day would come, I didn't want to be in a position where I didn't have money in the bank to weather the storm. And I did. And we're also lucky that we have a big book of business and we're still making sales. So it's not like my business is slower than it would be, but we're not dead. We're still selling a place every day of the week. None of my staff is getting let go. Any changes to 3D tours? We've been using Matterport forever. Zillow has implemented their 3D tour. They're arch rival now is Matterport. I think Zillow's 3D tours are terrible. But we are having some of our properties that are vacant be done in the Zillow 3D format. So now we have 3 3Ds. So we have the 3D from Zillow, the Matterport 3D, and then our video tour. Personally, I think it's a little bit too much, but we're going to try everything out. We're not gonna not try the new technology. How do you feel about having a listing up on the market as well as buying a home during a pandemic? Okay. So I have my own unit on the market, and I'm also buying a unit on the market, or I'm buying a unit for my family to live in. And how do I feel about it? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's what I planned on doing, and I took the game plan. I realize as a seller that it would be nice. I don't need to sell my place to buy the next one. It would be definitely nice to get that mortgage off my plate and get rid of that asset. But it sucks, and I know it sucks, and I know there's nothing I could do. I'm fully confident in my own ability to sell a place that when the shelter-in-place gets lifted, I know my place will sell, and if worst case worst, I'll rent it. But I just feel frustrated at the situation that Corona had to happen during the best time of the year. It would have been nicer if it happened like October with the election and all that stuff. It would have been more convenient. But unfortunately in life, guys, we cannot control anything. So I'm rolling with the punches as best as I can, I should say. The extension, what do you think about the COVID-19 antibody test? Are you thinking about getting it done? There's so many different things. They say that if you get the antibody test and it could tell you if you had it or you didn't have it. And there's other people who are saying that that test is a joke. Like, honestly, I don't care. I really don't. I don't think about it. I don't have any feelings towards it. I will not get it done. If I have had it or had it, it's not going to change the situation, man, nor do I have time to spend an hour on a test and wait on results that, to me, are meaningless. The extension will expire 4/30. Do you think JP will extend? I mean, honestly, he could extend it by the end of the day, and I look like an idiot. It seems like he's going to extend it. Lightfoot hinted at the end of June, which I heard that from somebody 2 days ago, and I almost had a heart attack. I am praying selfishly that he does some sort of phase one till the mid-May, where some things can get back. We got to get back to work. We have to. I am super scared about how long this will last, but we got to get back to work. So selfishly, I'm hoping this gets lifted, but I know it's not going to get lifted. I mean, I'm hoping it's some sort of hodgepodge of this and this will change, but time's going to tell. Which MLG agent is handling the shelter in place the best? Mickey. Shout out to Mickey Hobson. He's working every day. We have a days off for the MLG team. A day off is considered a weekday. Is anything before 6:30 at night is considered a day off, and anything before 4:30 on a weekend is considered a day off. Currently, me and Mickey are the only ones with 0 days off. Some of the other people are not doing too great. However, I would say that Mickey's probably handling it best because he is working every day and he's doing the bulk of the showings right now. Are some sellers holding off on marketing listings live until shelter-in-place lifts? Why? Yes, we've answered this 5 weeks in a row. Some sellers just don't feel comfortable letting people in their house, and they also think it's a waste of time to list during shelter-in-place. As much as I disagree with that, I cannot not disagree with the safety issue. So if some people don't feel comfortable with it, and I've said this before, like, it's a weird situation. If you're not comfortable with it, we're not going to force you to do it. Have any events you've been looking forward to gotten canceled? Yeah, I was supposed to go away on vacation on my birthday. That got canceled. Sucked. Then I redid it for Memorial Day. Canceled that because we're still here. There's some random stuff that I wanted to go to. There's some wine event I wanted to go to that got canceled. But I mean, listen, all this stuff is nothing major. The main thing that I'm mad that got canceled is I feel like the spring market got canceled. That's the main thing I feel I'm most pissed off about. With less inventory, what price ranges should buyers be looking to get a good deal on? Okay, anything above $2 million, you're going to cut a good deal on. Anything under $2 million, there's not enough inventory to catch a deal. Or look at places that have been on the market for 200 plus days, above 1.5. If it's under $1 million and it has been on the market that long, guess what? There's not that much out there. You're not going to get a great deal on it. Do I collect anything? No idea what that means. I collect wine. Well, you can't say I collect wine because I drink it. I'm not a holder, I'm a drinker. So if you follow me on Instagram, I've said this a couple weeks ago, I'm drinking much more than I normally drink. Definitely 2+ glasses a night, maybe 3. I collect wine, but I drink it and consume it. But minus that, I don't have any hobbies of collecting or spending money on anything other than real estate, advertising, staff, and wine. Are you telling sellers to go on the market now or waiting until the shelter in place is up? Answer that. What is your real estate investment, or what is my real estate investment strategy? I buy for the long term. I don't care. There's different types of investors out there. You could be a cash flow investor, which means that you buy properties that aren't that expensive, that have more of a high risk type of renter, but the property pays for itself almost immediately and it's great cash flow. And there's long-term investors. I buy more of a safe investment. What I do is I buy properties that I only make a couple bucks a month, maybe break even, or $100 in my pocket, something small like that, and that will slowly but surely appreciate more in time. So 30 years from now, it'll be paid off. It's just cash flow, and the property's worth a lot more than it was worth previously. It's a tortoise play. I don't need to get rich today. I look at it like an annuity, and I'm going to continue to try to pick up 1 to 2 properties a year. I bought one in January. Probably not the best time to buy an investment property while I'm trying to buy another property and sell my property. Didn't think Corona would hit. But my strategy is just technically 1 property a year that is a safe investment. Have any of the MLG agents had any creative ideas for getting the job done during a shelter in place? I don't think anybody's had anything super creative that have approached me on. I think that we're all just trying to manage everybody's expectations as much as possible and trying to talk people off the ledge. So I would say the creativity comes from all my agents are very intelligent on the market and are able to talk to their clients in a way so that they understand what to expect in this climate. What is your funniest COVID-19 showing story yet? Whew, I got quite a few of these. Probably the fact that people will let us in their house to show, and then they freak out if you get within 10 feet of them, literally freak out. I don't know why they'll be in the unit then, but some people absolutely freak out when we go near them. And I understand we're supposed to be doing the social distancing thing, but it's kind of crazy. What is your biggest fear? Good question. Probably for me, the only thing I fear in life is failure. I am a winner. I want to win. I've always felt that way, that I want to win. And I always said that I will do anything it takes legally to win. Usually to win, you have to give it your all. I always tell people that if you want something bad enough, you could take it. And the way to take it is to work for it. I think the main problem when somebody says that you always get what you want, I always say I always get what I want. And the reason I always get what I want is because I put a plan in place of what I have to do to get what I want. And then I realized that the plan to get what I want is up here. And to get there, I have to go like this, uphill on a diagonal. And it's a really long, hard road. And the main person, when they want to get to what they want, they get to here and they fail because they quit. Well, my fear is that I would quit or fail. So when I want to get to what I want, I'm going to keep climbing and trying and working until I die to get what I want. And I'm willing to give up everything it takes to get there. Now, I'm not saying I'm willing to kill somebody or, do something crazy. So let's back that up if that's what you're thinking. But what I mean is that I'm willing to work as long, as hard, and as much as it takes to win. And I will always fear failure, but I will never confront failure because I won't be the person that's going to ever quit. That's the last one. So where can people find me and want to plug? We'll plug M. Literacy. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Hit the little bell. Subscribe to our channel so you can kind of get notifications when these get released. And leave us messages. Let us know what you want us to ask next week. We're going to keep doing these every single week while this shelter in place lasts to update you on what we're seeing, what we're doing in the market. And if you leave us a question, we're definitely going to answer them. So thanks for listening to the Matt Literacy Project. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast, follow us on Instagram, and like us on Facebook.